Good evening and welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Tamiru Nimsa. Let's have a look at the headlines. Monetary policy and fiscal policy must align for smooth sales of the economy, Dr. Nandalal says. Government takes step to increase financial accountability, State Minister reveals. News in detail. The Central Bank Governor, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, said that the taxation which falls under the parameters of the fiscal policy is under the purview of the Minister of Finance and the Central Bank has no control over it. The Central Bank Governor said that since the country's monetary policy and fiscal policy are the two main policies required to manage the macroeconomy, the respective financial institutions must maintain close coordination. Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe said this speaking at an event held in Colombo recently.
There's a recent debate on a bit of a confusion what we are saying because the terminology is different, but in English language it's very clear. Monetary policy, fiscal policy, public finance and finance of the country and state. When it comes to institution, it is the central bank, the authority for the monetary policy. The Minister of Finance is the authority of the fiscal policy. But it's important that two institutions, while working independently without interfering into each other's territory in making fiscal policy by the central bank or influencing the monetary policy decision by the fiscal authority. This is independent, but at very important coordination should happen. Because for the overall macroeconomic stability, it is important that two important policies in managing macroeconomy, fiscal and monetary policy, should coordinate very closely without having any conflict, without having any influencing each other and respecting independence of two different policies. That's why I thought I make these remarks, because people might think when I come and talk about taxation, it's a responsibility of something to do with central bank. No, nothing central bank can do on the taxation. It is completely fiscal authority. We respect the authority. We don't want to influence that authority. We want to work closely with that authority.
Speaking further at the event, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal highlighted the need to enhance the financial literacy of the Sri Lankan people in order to foster a more voluntary compliance mentality regarding issues like taxation.
One of the issues that I see in this country, financial literacy, is relatively low, although we say we have a very high literacy in terms of primary, secondary and tertiary education, but we say over 90%. But financial literacy is, based on the recent survey, only about 56%, which includes the financial literacy in terms of the financial services, and also part of financial services is a taxation. That's where whenever this taxation policies are basically debated, we see a lot of different kind of arguments coming up, because there's less education and knowledge and awareness of the public on this taxation. So this education will certainly help improve tax literacy and enable them to understand the importance of a fair tax system. This effort aims to transition the public from a mandatory requirement orientation to a more voluntary compliance mentality regarding taxes. So the mandatory requirements will never work unless you bring in, inculcate the culture of voluntary compliance of all of our responsibility, making our fair share of part of our income as a taxation, our contribution to the government.
Also speaking at the event, Minister of State for Finance Ranjit Siyamalapitiya said that the Management of Public Finance Act will be presented to Parliament tomorrow. The State Minister stressed the need for a robust legal framework for the fiscal policy in order to enhance the accountability for the taxpayers in the country.
අපි සූදානම් පියවරෙන් පියවර මේ බදු ගෙවන්නාගේ තියෙන මේ සැකය නැති කරන්න. දැන් ලබන සතියේ මේ රටේ ඒ සම්බන්ධ වූ ඉතාම වැදගත් පනත පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා 22 වෙනිදා. රාජ්‍ය මූල්‍ය කළමනාකරන පනත. මෙතෙකල් 1935 ඉඳන් තිබුණේ මුදල් නියෝග වලින් තමයි අපි වියදම් කරේ. 66 වෙද්දී එක රෙගුලාසි වුණා, 92 සංශෝධනයක් ආවා. හැබැයි ඔක්කොම රෙගුලාසි. මේකත් කෙනෙක් කියන්න පුළුවන් ජාත්‍යන්තර මූල්‍ය අරමුදල එකඟතා තමයි. හැබැයි මේක අපිට ඉතාම වැදගත්. නීතිමය පනතක් බවට රාජ්‍ය මූල්‍ය කළමනාකරන පනත යටතේ රාජ්‍ය මූල්‍ය වැඩපිළිවෙල පත් වෙනවා. ඉතින් අර මගෙන් අහපු බදු ගෙවන්නාගේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට බොහෝ විට උත්තර තියෙනවා. දැන් දැනටත් අපි වියදම් කළමනාකරන චක්‍රලයක වරින් වර ගහමින් මෙතෙන්ට යන්න උත්සාහ කරා මේ කාල සීමාවේ. හැබැයි ඒක වඩාත් නීතිමය තත්වයකට අපි ගේනවා මේ 22 වෙනිදා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඉදිරිපත් කරලා.
Stay tuned. Welcome back after the break. The Ceylon Chamber of Commerce has issued a call to all political parties to support the ongoing reforms of state-owned enterprises and maintain the reform momentum to build on the economic stability achieved thus far. The Chamber issued this call releasing a statement to media yesterday. The Chamber emphasizes that prioritizing and implementing reforms in SOEs, energy and fiscal management are essential to prevent the country from sliding back into a crisis. The Chamber underlines the necessity for political parties to focus on the long-term sustainability of Sri Lanka rather than leveraging the reform process for short-term electoral gains. Historically, inefficiencies and a lack of accountability in SOEs have imposed significant financial burdens on the government, contributing to economic crisis and resource misallocation. The Chamber highlights the need for market-based pricing and increased accountability within SOEs to prevent corruption and inefficiency. Chairman of the Sectoral Oversight Committee on an Open and Accountable Government, MP Jagat Kumar Sumitra Rachi, announced plans to implement a program aimed at conducting government transactions via online methods. The Member of Parliament noted that this initiative is part of broader efforts to reduce corruption and fraud in the public sector. He said this addressing a press briefing held at the President Media Centre recently. Sumitra Rachi highlighted the critical role of government employees in delivering efficient and accountable services to the public, emphasizing that the political system's primary role is policy making. He remarked that the Sectoral Oversight Committee has been actively evaluating the performance of public services by reviewing annual performance reports from various government institutions. The MP revealed that reports from the Auditor General have revealed that some institutions have performance rates as low as 23%. He said that the initiative to reduce corruption involves enhancing facilities for efficient government operations and promptly filing vacant positions. MP Jagat Sumitra Rachi also added that there are plans to conduct a survey on the duties of government employees to streamline operations further. The Securities and Exchange Commission of Sri Lanka and the Colombo Stock Exchange hosted a successful investor forum in Ratnapura recently. The forum aimed to raise awareness about investor protection and educate the public on investment opportunities available in the stock market. The event attracted over 170 participants, including both potential and existing investors, who received valuable insights into the world of investing. Manager of External Relations at the SEC, Nimal Kumar Singh, educated investors on the role of the SEC in the market and emphasized the Commission's commitment to safeguarding investor interests. Shanika Ramnayaka from the Colombo Stock Exchange conducted a session to create awareness about the CSC mobile app, highlighting its features and benefits for investors. The forum concluded with an interactive panel discussion featuring Mr. Nimal Kumar Singh, Mr. Nalin Sadish and Mr. Niroshan Vijay Sundar, Senior Vice President of Marketing at CSC. Stay tuned for stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on negative notes today.
The All Share Price Index dropped 18.17 points to close at 12,216.97, and the S&P SL20 gained 5.53 points to close at 3,608.71. The turnover was 1.3 billion rupees and over 54 million shares were traded.
Up next are Forex rates. That's all our news for today. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook.